So, welcome guys to the. I think this is now the eighth day of the 100 Days in Finance. 100 Days in Finance Challenge. We're here with Jonas. Jonas is a friend from South Africa. We've known each other. I think the first interview we did was last year, but one. Yeah, was it last
Yeah,
year?
I
Yeah,
think it was last year. I think very early in the year, yeah.
yeah. So now we are back again. Now, I think the first time it was about mentorship, and then now we're back again. Now we're talking about finances specifically. It's the banking sector. So maybe you can give people a quick background about you so that people can know who exactly Jonas is and you know where he's from.
If, my name is Jonas Adoro from South Africa, in Pretoria specifically. Yeah, so I've been a banker all my life. I'm a banker by profession and had the entrepreneurship bug about 11 years ago. At the time when I started as a mentor and a coach, I was coaching people, in the personal space, personal development, and growing them, career growth, and such things.
Yeah.
But as you grow as a person, then you tend to really find who you are, what you're about, and then a few years later, I then really went into business consultancy in really working with entrepreneurs because that's the space where when I started my business 11 years ago, I had issues. I was struggling. I couldn't find the person who could mentor me, who could coach me, who could teach me things. And I thought, let me just start here and create the environment for other entrepreneurs not to have the challenges I had. And yeah, that's where I have been. So I started Oroda 11 years ago, meaning my surname reversed, as my totem in our family of a crocodile, the resilience of staying in business despite the challenges, the resilience of pushing forward. And and with this thing of business consultancy, then keynote speaking, public speaking came in, and yeah, I had a wonderful year. Because really doors opened last year, 2025, where I really set on a lot of global stages that I never thought possible. I really thought as myself, somebody who is still in the local in South Africa type of a thing, looking at opportunities within the country, but things really escalated because I managed to also have webinars on a monthly basis in the US, until now in Feb, where the last sessions were happening. And I'm grateful for the opportunities that came my way. So as I said, as a crocodile with that type of resilience, that more opportunities came. And it's very important as an entrepreneur to make sure that you don't give up. There are a lot of challenges in business and stuff. But one is to make sure that at any given point that you work hard, that you don't become deterred, based on the challenges that happens. Don't despair. Just push forward and make sure that you win at this thing called life, because life requires one to always be on the edge of fighting and making things happen. And yes, that's me in a
Life is
nutshell.
definitely one big fight because like we're all trying to. Everybody, there's somebody who said everybody usually has an agenda. We're all trying to do something, and I think that's amazing. I think that's why even we're trying to do this because we want Africa to be a economic superpower at some point. So now, how do we take the journey from the first step to it starts with conversations like this one. So maybe you can tell us about your history, like in the banking sector. What's
Okay.
inside the vault? What's inside the vault with Jonas?
Yeah, so personally, I'm a very driven person.
Yeah.
So, in essence, at the time that I finished my matric, I really never thought of myself being in the industry of banking.
Yeah.
I can say that I found myself here by default, in that I initially had the love to study, even though things were not clear at the time when I was making my matric, to understand where will I be, what do I want to be. And I thought of myself, no, maybe being an academic of some sort, being called a professor of some sort, based on certain things. And then just early after finishing retreat, I found myself in banking. And due to this theme of banking, then I grew. I remember in 1996, that was my first step on entering a bank as an employee. But I was a temp at the time, yes. I'm giving my age away. So 1996, then yes, I entered the bank. So I first started at Standard Bank. I worked there for about 14 years. Worked the ranks, with different roles. By virtue of me being a very competitive person and challenging myself, I felt I hit the ceiling. So got opportunities at NetBank. That's one of the banks in the country. I spent 2 years there, and then by virtue of me having been at the university at the time, then at university they tend to give us study groups and stuff like that. So then I met a colleague there who then enticed me or invited me to go and work at ABSA. So then I joined ABSA. I also spent 7 years there. So 14 years plus 2 years plus 7 years at ABSA. And by virtue of my blood having been blue from inception as I joined the bank in 1996, I then went back to Standard Bank in 2020, and that's where I have been. I'm currently working in the Gauteng province as their client experience manager. So there's also a few articles that I have shared specifically on client experience, because if you're an entrepreneur, we tend to make things so unprofessional, bra and whatnot, but to a certain extent, we need to be professional in all this. And some things that I'm struggling with, especially with the young people today who enters business, they don't really have that professional required mindset of doing business. And these are the kind of things then that I coach and teach. So I'll make you an example quickly, brother, so that you have an idea. So in a sense that if you are doing business with a person, or you want to entice them, or you want to make sure that you reach their heart in business, it's important to address them properly. It's important to go as far as calling them by name. If others prefer to be called by their name, or to be called a Mr. or a Miss, if it's a Miss or a Mrs., that's how far you should go. And in the generation that we are in, some of the things are really falling away. That is why it's difficult for us to put people back there. So I am blessed because I'm able to do dual roles at the time. At this time, in what I'm doing, I'm a banker on the right hand. I'm also a business consultant on the
other side.
And these two things then work in hand, in a sense of making sure that I balance the two, because as you grow as a person, there should be some interests and hobbies. So for me, business consultancy, coaching, mentoring entrepreneurs, this is who I am. This is my passion. This is what I love. And due to this, then it also developed with regards to the experience I get from the bank.
So
that has made me who I am today. So people tend to ask me, so many years, are you still in banking? Banking has been my first love.
Yeah.
So, and it taught me everything I know with regards to business.
Yeah.
And that's why I believe until a certain point, and this is what I keep saying, and telling people, until a time comes where my business consultancy keeps me so busy that I'm not able to concentrate on banking. That's the only time I think that I leave banking to travel
and
the world,
coach.
travel.
And coach different people on the aspects of business.
Yeah.
So maybe you can tell us, okay, how does in the financial world, how is banking in a general overview? Why is banking so important to the financial world? And what has been your experience in seeing how the banking world impacts the financial world on a real-time basis? Yeah. Why, like, if you could say, like, why banking is important? Yeah, people to understand why.
I think banking is important. It teaches us as a people, educated or not, learned or not, literate or illiterate, banking teaches us simple principles of thinking about the future. How in that, if you are a person who wants to achieve things in a long term, in a short term, you require to have certain principles. And banking is simply about teaching us a principle that we, especially as Africans, we already know. It's just that we tend to think at a smaller scale, but banks think at a higher scale. In our country, in our country in South Africa, we have what we call stokvels. So stokvels mean 5-10 people coming together, agreeing that on a monthly basis they will put away 200 rand, in an account. And then maybe at the end of the year in December, because it's Christmas and whatnot, families come together, then we start sharing that money. That is a kind of a principle that we already have. And one thing that I can tell you is that stokvels, especially in our country, contribute about up to 4 billion rand. I mean, this is massive. And this is just money rotating between people that doesn't really go into a bank physically. So you see that from an African perspective, the idea is there, the mind is there, and we are also applying the learnings that we got from banking. So banking teaches us one thing, to be responsible. Banking teaches us to be able to invest. Banking teaches us to be able to save. Banking teaches us to be able to think about the future. Future in a sense of bad or good, depending on the outcome we want and what we want to see. So it's very, very critical and important that from that perspective, then we are in a much better position of making sure that everything that we do is well aligned with making sure that we discipline ourselves with certain things, especially money matters. So it also teaches us how to handle money. The bank teaches us how to manage money. It teaches us how to maneuver in handling money. So those learnings are simple learnings that are there within us as a people. It's just that we really never formalized them. Yes, as we engage more and break down this banking thing, you will realize that Africans have already been investing and doing things differently. It's just that we really never thought of going global. At times we we put our things to a local perspective, but some go nationally,
yeah,
and
yes,
some go globally.
yeah.
So yeah,
So like in terms of thinking long term, from the time like let's say money enters the bank, yeah, maybe you can tell people, well, how does the bank does the money just stay there in the bank, it goes somewhere else? How do you earn interest? When people say you're earning interest in the bank, like in a nutshell, when I'm asking
yeah.
this, I'm asking from perspective of like a layman who
Yeah.
knows nothing about banking, and what are the benefits that accrue to him, like putting money in a bank? Yeah.
Okay. So you know what really happens is people assume that there is a vault. If I go and put my 10,000 at the bank, it's in a vault, it stays there.
Yeah.
And that. But in essence, that's not how banks work, right? So let me simplify this so that it's something that we are able to grasp, right?
Yeah.
But then here and there, then we'll use the bank jargon or finance jargon so that we are able to break the same thing down. So when you deposit money inside a bank, or you go to a bank to deposit your money, the bank records a liability. So what does that mean? You put your 10,000 rand in the bank,
Yeah.
then it means the bank owes you 10,000
10,000.
rand.
Yeah.
So to the bank, it is a liability because they owe who? They owe you.
Yeah.
But then that same deposit becomes a part of the bank's funding base. I will explain what do I mean by the funding base that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And then a portion of this 10,000 rand is kept as reserves. We have reserve banks. Each country has a reserve bank. I will also break it down better so that we understand. And then lastly, then the bank takes some of this money that you owe, and then they go and then they make it funds for loans, and then some of it is then invested. So, for example, if you deposit your 10,000 rand into the bank, the bank uses a system that we call fractional reserve bank. So you deposit your 10,000, then the bank takes 1,000 rand from your 10,000, and then they put it in a reserve. So they invest it. So they reserve it for probably tomorrow if you say you come and you want your money.
Yeah.
Now, then the remaining 9,000 rand, the bank then takes and then they lend it out to other people as loans. So you find that in essence they are just administering your funds. So this is a smaller scale, right? Because remember, from your perspective as a person, you are putting 10,000 rand into a bank because you want interest or you want your money to grow.
Yeah.
Right? So depending on the percentage that the bank will give you or we will agree with you, then that is what they will then give you. So that loan becomes income for the bank through interest payments because they will take your 9,000 rand, give a loan to somebody for 2,000, give a loan to someone on the other side for 2,000, give another one until your 9,000 rand has been disbursed accordingly.
Yeah.
So from a person, when you come to the bank to withdraw your money, the bank fulfills your withdrawal from the cash reserves.
Oh.
So they take from the cash reserves. So remember, because you are not alone. There's Jonas with his 10,000. There's Jung with his 10,000. There's so and so with his 10,000. So if Jung comes tomorrow and says, "I want my 10,000," it doesn't mean Jonas wants his. So they will go and take from the 1,000 in reserves from every 10,000 rand and give you his money.
So it doesn't mean like if I'm going to deposit my entire amount Now, whatever is left in the reserve that isn't circulating is going to form the part of the money, that because not everybody is going to come and withdraw at once. I think
everybody.
Yeah.
Remember to your question that you asked earlier. What does the bank teaches us?
Yeah.
So there are people who decide they want to put their money there long term.
Mm-hmm.
There are those who say they want to put it short term. Some will say, no, I want to put my money at the bank for 3 months, some 6 months, some 12, some 24 months.
Yeah.
So if you comes and say, I want my 10,000 that I gave you in January and now it's March, we will still be able to give you his money, all of it, if he wants all of it.
Yeah.
But it will be from the reserves. So you might think, no, I gave the bank 10,000, I'm taking my 10,000, so they are 10,000 rand less. Not really, because we have already given loans to some people.
To some people.
Your money in long term is going to give us more money.
Oh.
You might have taken yours, but the same money that you put into the bank is now going to give us interest, because that is then how the money grows.
Yeah.
So think 100 people that put 10,000 rand. 100 people put 10,000 rand into the bank. That's enough money to loan other people, to loan countries.
Yeah.
That is what. And that's how banks start making sure that at any given point they are able to survive. Despite the challenges. So remember the example I did of a Stockfell and a bank. These two are different, because Stockfell, you put your money from January to December. In December you take all of it.
Yeah.
But with the bank, it stays there, and they take the same money, loan it to other people, make interest on your money. When you want your money, so they are making interest on your money.
Yeah.
So think about it. If you really want to be a bank on your own, you can make it, but
the barrier to entry in terms of like banking is very high, because you have to be very strict. You can't just put. So
that happens really because of regulations. Banks are regulated.
Yeah.
And it's also important to note that for you to be a bank, you also need to have liquid assets. So meaning, if the bank takes your 10,000 rand, we must make sure that at any given point, if you need your money,
we'll give you. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the difference between a bank and a stokvel, because with the stokvel, as I said, it's the money that we put away from January to December. At the end of December, we share it. But with the bank, it's different, because we must have liquid assets that will make sure that the 10,000 that you put in the bank, there's also assets with the same amount. In case you come today and say, I want my money, the bank must be able to sell some assets to give you your money.
Oh, that's why it's dangerous. That's why it's dangerous. Like, let's say if you come and ask for like a large amount, like let's say I'm coming to ask for like a large amount. Sometimes the bank doesn't have that large amount because it's invested so much into different things. They tell you, give us some time to give you your. You can't just come and withdraw 50 million rand just like that.
Yeah, so look, remember with regards to regulations, and that is why to a certain extent, if you go to a bank, you can only draw up to a certain amount. So you can't go to a physical bank and draw 50 million. There is no bank, there is no vault that has that kind of money, because today we speak about.
It's like the movies. People usually think like it's like the movies. There's a big vault somewhere. There's 100 million gold, diamonds, and everything. Everything is just there.
movies has a certain narrative that they are trying to show us, but
In real life,
there is no vote.
There's no vote.
No vote that has billions. There is no vote that has billions. So, in a sense of making sure that at any given time, people understand the bank's vote has an account.
Oh.
So, you remember all the people have bank accounts.
Mm-hmm.
The bank has a bank account. Now, another thing that people should know is that banks bank with banks.
Banks bank with banks.
Yes.
Hey.
Banks with banks. So meaning, if you come to me as a bank and you deposit your 10,000, I'm gonna take that 10,000, put it in an account, right? So it might be an account that I already have as a bank in my space, or I can go and take your money to another bank so that your money can earn me higher interest.
I think this one will save this one for the next video, because now you've now blown our minds. Now this is banking with banks. I think now we'll take this one to now the next episode, because now this is just an introduction.
Yeah.
We're going to now go in deeper now inside the vault and see what we're going to do with Jonas. Jonas has a lot for us. We're going to, at the end of the day, he's part of the process of Africa becoming an economic superpower. And yeah, I think now we're going to pull that one to the next episode, so that now we now see how you have to explain to people. There you go. 29 minutes. Stop recording.